Good morning, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. Well, if you're an American, this is a very, very important holiday for you. This is the 4th of July. It's a time where people dress themselves up in patriotic colors and they go out and they watch parades. And most of the time it's where you consume a lot of icy cold beer, eat a lot of chicken and hamburgers and watermelon and corn on the cob.
One that's burnt to a crisp. Today we're going to show you some basic tips to make the perfect burger. And it all starts with the best hamburger. 80-20 is what you want to go for. So always find a butcher that if he can, he grinds his own hamburger, but you want a ratio of 80% meat, 20% fat. That makes the perfect burger. Make the size, divide it into the size burger you want. And I think one of the most important things is don't overwork the burger. When you're making the patty, don't overwork it. And again, it doesn't have to be perfectly round. There, you want to try to just get it to the right thickness. And again, don't worry if it's got some splits or anything, all that's fine. And then the other trick, I know everybody knows this guy, his burgers come off, they look like a football, and then the first thing he does is he takes his spatula, slams it down on the grill, and all the juices come running out, and he has a Vesuvian flare-up. But what we like to do is we like to kind of trick the burger a little bit, make a little indentation in there so when it starts to cook, it will even out to the other side of the burger. And just like the steaks, we're not going to over-season the burger. A lot of times you'll hear people say, well, what about adding other flavors into the burger? Onion, breadcrumbs, and egg. Well, that's a meatloaf. If you want a meatloaf, cook a meatloaf. We're cooking burgers here today. And what we're going to do, again, with our olive oil, and that olive oil not only imparts a little bit of flavor, but it helps the salt and the pepper to adhere to the meat. But this will help you make the perfect burger. Fresh ground pepper on each one. And we're ready to go to the grill. Okay, we're ready to put our burgers on the grill. Again, a screaming hot grill. That's gonna give us some good caramelization, some good grill marks. First thing we're gonna do, just like we did with the steaks, we're gonna oil our grill. Going to take our burgers and again just put them on the grill. One thing about hamburgers, unless you know where your meat has been ground, whether it's freshly ground, whether it's right out of the store, you'll always want to cook a burger all the way through. If it's freshly ground, then you can cook it to temperature. A medium rare, medium burger is fine. Otherwise, with the way hamburger is made, you're better off being safe, cooking it all the way through, which is in excess of 150 degrees. Okay, our burger's been cooking about 3 or 4 minutes. The key when you have burgers, you only want to flip them one time. You don't want to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We just want to flip them one time. Hopefully when we flip these things over, there'll be some good grill marks. Look at that. That's exactly what we're trying to see. And you can see how that well in there has kept the burger from fluffing up like a pillow. So we got some great grill marks. Those are looking fantastic. So a few more minutes on this side. We'll toast the buns, we'll put some cheese on, we'll show you some tricks there as well. All right, you're ready, you got your grill, you're ready to go. Your burgers are almost ready to take off. One of my big pet peeves is when they make a cheeseburger and they don't take the extra 20 or 30 seconds it is to melt the cheese on the burger. It makes all the difference in the world. So we got our burgers, they're almost done. We got our cheese. All we gotta do is take that cheese. Don't worry about it spilling over on the grill. It'll all burn off. Just set that there. Now, you don't wanna do anything. You don't wanna touch it. Again, we've only flipped our burgers one time. Close the grill. We're gonna come back in about 30, 40 seconds. That cheese is gonna be perfectly melted, ready for our buns. Okay, finally, one of the last things you've gotta do, we've got our burgers, the cheese melting. You gotta toast the bun. So a lot of people like it. We lightly butter it. We put it over here on a low to medium part of the grill. And again, you can leave it open. It's not gonna take long at all, maybe 15 to 30 seconds. and you'll be able to take it off, and that grill will be perfectly toasted, have good grill marks, ready to put your burger with the melted cheese on it. All right, we're ready to take our burgers off. Look at that. That is perfect. First off, let's check our bread. Perfectly grilled. Good grill marks. That's what you want to see. Now, let's take our burgers. Burger one. Burger two. Look at that. Perfect. That's what you want a perfect burger to look like. Do these steps so you'll be a better griller.
And if I was in the United States, that's what I would be doing. Even if I was to be spending it alone, you're sure as shit you would know that I would go off to the store and buy myself a watermelon for the house and maybe grab myself a burger if I don't cook it myself. This is a time of patriotism, and everybody, if you're listening to the radio or watching television, it'll be very hard to go through the day without hearing the words freedom, democracy ranted about a couple of dozen times. And the sacrifice that others have made so that you can live in the preferred American way of life. At this point in time, it's a real big joke. But the people who's inside the United States, it's something really serious. They really believe that America has democracy. They really believe that Americans are free. And I'm not going to discount that. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. They're not able to compare it against anything, obviously. So they believe it. The best way I can describe that is, imagine your favorite pizza. Maybe it's a Chicago style deep dish pizza, or it's a New York thin pizza, or maybe it's a Minneapolis pizza. Think of your favorite kind of pizza. Now imagine your spouse, your girlfriend or your boyfriend, who's never had pizza in the world because their parents have always told them that pizza tastes like dog food, and they will not touch it at all. Instead, they like to eat pears because they believe pears are the best. The funny thing is, the parents called the pears delicious pizza. So these people, they're eating pears thinking it's pizza when it's really not pizza. Yeah, isn't that something? Isn't that fucked up? That's America for you.
Got all my other ingredients. I'm ready to stir these up and get them in the oven. I'm gonna bake them at 375 for about a good hour, and they'll be ready to go. Okay, so baked beans. All we gotta do for these, like I said, just stir them up. Got that 7-pound can of baked beans in there. I got a 3/4 cup of brown sugar and a cup of barbecue sauce and a 1/4 cup of ketchup. Stir them up, put them in the oven for 1 hour at 375. So I'll be back. I got to get back outside. Hey y'all, I'm letting y'all sneak a peek. It's almost time to get everything off. The ribs are just about ready, beautifully brown, looking good, smack-alicious. And those are the turkey sausage, and then the other ones on the back there are these bratwurst, and of course those are the chicken drum. That's my meat, my 3 meats out there. And in about 20 minutes I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna brush those ribs with that barbecue sauce. I'm gonna put some lemon butter sauce on those legs and honey. We're gonna be ready to put. I'm gonna run through the oven, run everything through the oven, and just let it sit there about maybe 15-20 minutes. But that's my grill, and that's what I love to do. It's on my same old grill, this backyard grill. This is my husband's grill from 25 years ago. This says the Backyard Classic Professional. That's what my husband was, a classic professional griller, and I'm keeping his grill. I think maybe, well, one individual said he was going to fix this area down here for me, so we're going to see. I might retire, I don't know. I just don't have the heart to, but we'll see. It takes a little bit longer because you have to do so many different things with it, but it cooks like you would not believe. So folks, I'm gonna run in the house, tidy up a little bit, and I'll be back out here in about 15 minutes. Okay, y'all, what I'm doing to these, what I did, I guess I should have shown you before I came out here. I'm so hot, I'm trying to get out from out here. Okay, the chicken is done, and of course the ribs are as well. And what I have done, I melted a stick of butter, teaspoon of garlic powder, tablespoon of complete seasoning, and a tablespoon of garlic powder, and just a pinch of salt, and about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Because remember I said this was going to be grilled lemon chicken. Okay, so that is exactly what it is. So what I'm in the process of doing now, I've already basted one side. I'm basting the other side, and I'm letting that seasoning just grill right on into it. That's gonna be some good eating, y'all. Just letting it grill into it. I'm gonna let it lay on there, and then I got to go over the other side of the grill, of course, and I've got to baste the ribs. The ribs are ready to be basted as well, so they're all done. So what I'm gonna do, I got my barbecue sauce ready over here. And what I did, I mixed. Y'all know I always mix my Sweet Baby Ray's with a little extra brown sugar, some Bragg's vinegar, and just mix it up together. Just give it a little bit of different taste. And all I'm going to do with this is, let me see if I can find a home for some of this stuff.
So this is the 4th of July, and most normal people, I considered myself abnormal all the time, but most more normal people, I like to consider myself sometimes normal. I mean, I do like to eat hamburgers. Actually, I call them a hamburger. I like to eat cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers. I like to eat cheeseburgers. They say that they're very rarely talk about democracy and freedom and all this other stuff. Though I imagine that they're probably going to be bantering about the idea of a war with China and some close sections on there drinking some beer, maybe. As if that's going to happen. Let me tell you something, people. If there's any war with China, it'll be over really quick. And America will be in ruins. That's the reality. That's the harsh reality. You may not want to hear it, but the good thing is it'll be over really quick. So, depending upon, the political persuasions, if you're conservative, you know about how evil Xi Jinping is, and Putin and Xi Jinping are colluding with the devil and all kinds of nonsense like that. You got to protect the American way of life, as the America is just in complete disarray right now. It doesn't matter. Most of you aren't going to be talking about politics or that kind of stuff, because you're going to be in mixed company, and you're just going to be quaffing your icy cold brews and munching on your delicious food. Most won't have French fries, but you will have bags and bags of potato chips. And if you're near a porch, or near a pool, you'll be swimming. Unless you're in Arkansas. Did you know that most pools in Arkansas close on the 4th of July? Yeah, because it's a holiday. The temperature may be 110 degrees out and the humidity may be 90%, but they're closed because it's a holiday. No shit. As somebody who grew up in the northeast, I was stunned at Arkansas being so fucking idiotic about that. But that's the way it worked. Who figures, right? So I spoke a little bit about politics, spoke a little bit about American culture. Now I want to get to the sore point, the entire key point. Americans don't have a lot of holidays compared to the rest of the world. So when you do have a holiday, it's a special event. That's very important to realize. Mostly, you'll have a weekend. If you worked at a couple of companies that I worked at, you'll get the holiday off, but they won't allow you to drink. If they find out that you're drinking on the holiday, you could lose your job. Of course, this was in the 90s. I hope it's kind of mediated somewhat. But it's a big event for most Americans because you don't get the kinds of holidays you get in the rest of the world.
All right, this is Matt. Now, Matt, pit boss, self-titled?
Yes.
And why do you think you deserve the title?
I'm the only one on this team that knows what's going on.
Well, the answer is you're damn good at what you do. That should have been the answer. But you've just put a brisket in?
Yeah.
Can we have a quick look at it?
Yeah, I've got a brisket, a belly.
Woo! So this is the brisket here.
Yeah, that's your brisket.
All right, so it's a little bit different. In Texas, that would just be salt and pepper, but we got a wet rub on here, huh? What's in it?
Worcestershire sauce, Tabasco, garlic, chili.
The smell is unbelievable. It's like a whole farmyard in here. It's really exciting.
We've got dinner.
All right, how many hours will this go for?
At least 12.
All right, well, I'm going to let you put the lid down and not lose any more heat, and good luck.
Thank you.
So I personally came over here to admire this magnificent apron. What you guys can't see is the magnificent team name on the shirt underneath this apron, which is
The Pork Swords.
the Pork Swords. Now, it's apropos that the Pork Swords are therefore doing
Pork.
pork loin. We've got tenderloin here.
We have pork tenderloin here. We have pork ribs marinating in here. We've also got a bit more pork on the barbecue behind us.
Is that just for snacking?
Oh, that's for snacking. We've got a bit of snacking going on.
Very good. And what's going to happen with this tenderloin?
The loin's going to have a little bit of a dry rub put on it. We'll seal it off and then we'll just set it aside at about 60 degrees all night. And then we'll just let it slowly go until about 10 tomorrow morning. And then pull it off, have a look at it, give it a poke, let it rest, and then we'll slice it off and give it to the judges.
There's no point smoking all day for all those hours if you don't get to eat it yourself. So the smart thing to do, keep an extra pit handy, make yourself dip.
Independence Day in China is a 10-day long holiday. America, it's 1 day. Americans will probably go forth and be with the family. Some have friends. Usually it's eating all day and then a movie in the evening is pretty typical. Some might do something a little bit odd, but it's nothing. It's not the norm. If you've got the means, a lot of people will drive to relatives. I used to, if it was a holiday, especially if it was near the weekend, I would drive over and visit relatives a couple states away. Now, of course, when I worked at General Motors, they put a rules. They says if there's a holiday coming up, you can't use a personal holiday. You can't use a personal day off, and you can't use a sick day, which means you weren't allowed to take any time off. You had 1 day off, that was it. So they placed that rule. I don't know if that's a common rule in a lot of companies in the United States, but I know that it was common enough back when I worked in the States. The rest of the world don't have these kinds of laws. The rest of the world thinks that the people who think these laws are mean and cruel and despotic. That's what the rest of the world thinks of the way America does things. Mean, cruel, and despotic. And if you're stuck in the United States right now, I hope you enjoy the 4th of July. I'm sure that the prices are higher right now, but the reason why things are higher is not because Putin and oil, contrary to what President Biden has to say, but rather because Congress has been spending money like crazy. And that's just the reality of it. And I think you all realize this. So, how can I get through here without talking politics? Pretty damn hard. But I'm going to tell you what I remember most. My favorite times that I've ever had in the 4th of July. And that's what I really want to talk about. I'd go over and I'd visit relatives, usually my mom, and it would be a 9-hour drive typically, and I'd get there late at night. I'd leave right after I got off work, just hop in the car, everything's ready, we'd scoot on over and arrive middle of the night, crash out and wake up the next morning and have a nice meal, spend some time talking, get ready for rest of the family to come. We'd have a nice holiday. A lot of homemade hamburgers. Cheese. And one thing we used to like to do is to take buns. We had an outdoor grill and we would grill the buns. Now, of course, I would certainly be grilling onions too, but in those days we always would cut the onions, eat them raw if you wanted onions. We'd always have lettuce and tomatoes pre-cut. And lots of, sides, lots of potato chips. My mom, she would make potato salad and homemade coleslaw. Homemade coleslaw, potato salad, big bunches, as well as a salad. I think my sister would contribute making the salad. There was also some other summertime fare, such as a couple of cold noodle dishes, like you'll take spiral noodles or macaroni noodles, you mix it with some fruit or vegetables like apples or peas and stuff, and a lot of generous salad dressing, and you have this kind of like a cold macaroni kind of dish that they would have. I always thought was delicious. But I'll tell you, a potato salad, a good potato salad, that is good eating. I'll tell you what, it's delicious eating. And of course, we would always, it's mandatory, you have to have watermelon. So I've had friends, they insisted on putting salt on watermelon. I never could see the point. And as a kid, of course, I'm always there eating the watermelon, spitting out the seeds. Now I just eat the whole thing and eat the seeds, but we didn't know that time. And sometimes we would have hot dogs, sometimes we didn't. It all would depend on the number of kids that are there. The kids always seem to like to eat the hot dogs. I guess it's easier to hold and all this. But everybody seemed to like the hot dogs done blackened, crunchy skin, which is something I like too, but I like to drench it. I used to like to drench it with the ketchup. And of course, there was always, hot dog buns and hamburger buns we would always have there. Lots and lots of potato chips. Now, over the years, we used to go for Wise, but Lay's kind of pushed Wise potato chips to the side. Now, Wise potato chips are heavily salted. Lay's not so much. And everybody, I guess, kind of moved to Lay's. Here you can't get any Wise potato chips. There's a blue bag with a picture of an owl, but I don't know why. I like Wise better than Lay's, but that's just me. Call me weird. And there's always homemade dip. Always homemade dip. You get yourself some cream cheese and you add a couple of salad seasoning packets, and you kind of blend them together and you get that. There's all kinds of stuff. My sister, Nadine, I have a sister named Nadine, and she came up and she says, what's really good is you take cream cheese and you whip it up And then you just get pretzels. You just buy a bag of pretzels, or I personally like these long pretzel rods. And you just dip them in there and eat it like that. And try those. That's really good. Yeah. Basic fare. Now, when I moved in the South, they would have briskets and barbecue. And I gotta tell you something. This is not the kind of barbecue you get up north. They don't know how to do barbecue, but they had real barbecue. Oh, lordy, that stuff's so good. And with a cold beer. Now, you have to understand, it's not enough to have your beer cold. It has to be frosty cold. I mean super cold temperature. There'd always be multiple containers. My mom, she used to have these huge, humongous, big containers that you put your ice in there and it filled with beer. One container for the kids with the soda pop. We always had soda pop. Of course, depending where you live, it's called soda. Another place is called pop. We always called it soda pop. And we would drink it. It was always a mix. And we'd have that with the ice cold beers. Of course, adults now. Sometimes they'd be drinking beer, but for my mother's side of the family, they always drank the cocktails. Good times, swimming in the pool, getting some rays, enjoying some delicious food. Talking about sports, maybe even having a little baseball game out on the lawn there. Kids going and back and forth, sometimes riding bicycles, sometimes playing a few hoops. That's basketball for you, in case you don't know what I'm talking about. And those are good memories, and I hope that you guys are enjoying those kinds of memories right now as well. My only regret is it wasn't often enough. Once a year, maybe twice a year if you include Memorial Day or Labor Day. It's just a couple of times a year. It should be more like China, every other week or at least once a month. The rest of the world would probably be a happier place if they started following some of these traditions of other nations, such as the frequency of holidays where you spend time with friends and family. And stop being so isolated, where you have to drive 9 hours to visit family. Hey, I get it. A lot of Chinese have to work really hard, and they only get once a year during Chinese migration to visit their relatives. But then, of course, they get a whole month off instead of 1 day, so it's a trade-off. There's a little bit of that. Whatever your holiday is, however you handle your holiday, I hope it's a good one. Politics in the United States is now the realm of the elite. They use it to control you. It's all meaningful. There is not going to be anything that these people are going to vote on that's going to make a difference. They're going to say all kinds of lies, and then they're going to continue their march towards destruction. They're not going to do anything they promise. If you believe democracy still works, well, good for you, but it doesn't. If you think your society in America is still viable, well, it isn't. It's gone, and it's being eroded away. Sometimes I feel some rays of hope, but I really don't. So just enjoy the moments you have. Enjoy the moments that you have as you have them, and make the best of them as they appear. And while you're doing it, play some frisbee with a dog. Play a little bit with the kitty cats. Go for a walk down the local town. and just make it a special day. If you're lucky, there may be a local carnival that pulled into town. Go there in the evening as the sun is setting. Spend some money on some of the cheap ass food there and get a bear claw or two. Eat some cotton candy. Make your life a little special. 4th of July has become a time that you spend with family. Spend it with family. Enjoy the moment. Don't let it pass you by. And at that, people, just know that no matter how fucked up the world may appear right now, you have this moment. You have the money to buy hamburger. You have the ability to go visit relatives. Do it. Make this moment special. And at that, just know what? I believe in you.
江上青莲映白沙，借醉意不归家。几番风雨才算走遍天涯。倒也罢，愿仗剑纵马，聊姻缘不看桃花。那夜色小馆见红蜡，无论春秋冬夏。借两盏薄酒，便敢论天下。梦一茶，醉一场繁华。月无暇，长亭剑下。借待三巡酒过变真假，是敌是友在喷神杀。江湖情长过挂酒，经历一万河家。待风吹红楼晚霞，吹白了长发。一壶温酒入喉，随你浪迹天涯。看那雪月风华，薄暮飞沙。天地大海有着酒家。待看笑颜如花，碧落山河如画。金戈铁马皆不敌你灼灼风华。身影恣意潇洒，四海为家。抵不过他一缕牵挂，一丝酒家。小馆见红蜡，无论春秋冬夏。借两盏薄酒，便敢论天下。梦一茶，醉一场繁华。月无暇，长亭